Hi guys, welcome back. So today we're back talking about the candidate running for mayor of Dalton who's going against senior trustee Jason House. So Cassandra Hopson-Jordan, or as Dear Woke Christian loves to call her, Cassandra CRASHOUT Hopson-Jordan, which I love that nickname. I love all these little nicknames that float around and come out, and she earned that nickname because she came on the scene making rant videos on Facebook in which she described the residents of Dalton as stupid, one paycheck away from being homeless.
Y'all are one paycheck from being homeless.
And a lot of other unsavory words that someone who is running for mayor should not be addressing the citizens as. So let's talk about some of these videos she's been posting on her Facebook. And in one of her posts, she calls out the YouTubers. In one of her posts, she said this: "Where my YouTubers at? I dare you to talk about them housing videos. You team Clean House 2025. Report that. Crickets. ... So that's my mimic talking trash voice." So the videos are about her showing some of the abandoned houses in Dalton, and she's basically taunting content creators like myself, saying that no one will address it, or that we're all too afraid to address it, right? Well, let's address it, because that's what you don't do. You don't call out the content creators, all right? We help make the stories. Whether you like it or not, this is what we do. And you know, it is a job. It's not that easy. People don't realize it until they actually start doing it. It takes commitment and all that good stuff. But let's move on. I'm going to say how I feel about her first. As a content creator and from someone who's from the outside looking in, and from what I've seen so far of her attitude and her character, I feel she would be just as bad, or if not worse, than Tiffany Henyard, being that she doesn't seem to know how to communicate with people on a basic humane level. Instead, she spends her time talking down to and talking about other people instead of showing the residents of Dalton her value and why they should vote for her. So let's get back to where she dares us content creators to show her videos of these abandoned houses. Let's see what she has to offer the residents of Dalton.
People just wanted to come out and give you part 2 of what Dalton is becoming. So as you guys can see, as I promised, I'm going to show you what the real Dalton is starting to look like. This house here, it's actually multiple houses in a row. So as you can see how the bottom of this house is no longer, so you know that you got all types of rodents, raccoons, possums, all of that living in this house. So I won't go too close up on it. This is what is becoming of our village. This is what we have to come out and look at. Makes you wonder, where are our tax dollars going to when a village looks like this?
So this is just some of her 5-part video saga of her showing dilapidated and abandoned houses around Dolton, Illinois. And throughout the video, she can be heard constantly blaming the trustees for the condition of the village. Let's just listen a little bit more and then I'll get back to it.
Once again, these people have sat in position for years and they just keep kicking the can down the road. But they're not doing anything to better the village. Everybody's complaining, everybody's pointing the finger. And this is what this village is becoming. So if we're going to talk about transparency, let's talk about the real truth. Look at this. And people actually have the nerves to come online and get mad. No, you should be outraged that your favorite politicians, the ones that you want in office, allow this village to look like this. This goes for every mayor, every trustee that has sat in position and watched this village become this. Because it's not about them doing a job, it's about them securing a paycheck. Why should I work when I can sit in office and enjoy your tax dollars? Promise you the world and give you nothing. This is what we're dealing with. Get you guys out of fantasy land. Get you guys out of la la land. Stop letting them paint the narrative that only one person is bad. You all are bad.
We hear a lot of blaming, but not real solutions. No kind of plan on how she's going to take on the responsibility of getting those houses either renovated or sold to a responsible party. In fact, I only heard her talk about having some side conversations with investors. So I guess that's her plan, to have some shady investors in there who will purchase the property and drive the value up so no average black or brown person could ever afford it. In her words, not mine.
And then you are constantly getting these phone calls from these investors because it's a land grab. They say, you know what? The investors like, all right, let them ignorant bammers, let them continue to do what they do. They gonna price themselves right out of their home, and we gonna come and grab them up. And then we gonna make it so impossible that the average black person, the average brown person will never be able to afford a house. I actually had a meeting with investors. And a lot of the investors, they are willing to invest. They're willing to help bring businesses back into this community, but they wanna make sure that they're doing it under the right leadership. It's nothing against the other two. You know, there's videos where you guys had private secret squirrel meetings up at the Village.
Then they turn around and have a secret squirrel meeting at the Park District.
Yes, that's what she said. But yet she's having these conversations with investors. So let's talk about her blaming the trustees for all these houses and for the current state of the Village of Dolton. Now, I'm not a real estate genius, but from what I've gathered from watching, the past board meetings and some interviews with people who used to work for Tiffany Henyard's administration, they say they were often given instruction to not give potential businesses their permits or licenses that they needed to open up in Dalton.
My thing is that if you do have the ability and the width to say that I don't want 40 licenses in town, that's your decision because you're the liquor commissioner. So the minute you get to pull in liquor license, because they talk about business license, liquor license, where I am the liquor commissioner, but to uproot these people's livelihoods after 20, 30 years, that's what I have a problem with.
Freeman's appearance in federal court comes just a day after he was sued alongside Mayor Henyard by a Dalton property owner who says the village unjustly denied him a business license.
When Keith Freeman told me that he's going to give me all the permits and put me in a position where I start working on my property, about time when I met with him again, he told me, "Who are you and do I know you?"
Tyrone Isom tried to open a barber shop and then a pigmentation studio in this space, but he says the building inspector told him Henyard blocked the project. He ended up selling the building to stay afloat financially.
I worked for the Village of Dolton for several years as the director of the building department. We were told as department heads several times on a daily basis not to help this person or that person because of personal issues.
Meet Dr. Nicole Scott, the powerhouse behind the American Association of Single Parents, a nonprofit with a relentless drive to uplift the community. Dr. Scott invested in the potential of Dalton, purchasing the 83,000 square foot strip mall on 142nd and King Drive with a vision to revitalize the area. Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her administrator Keith Freeman halts her plans, denying permits crucial for community growth and development.
We support the single parent community through charitable, social, and educational programs. We do that with the hope that they will become agents of change in their community. Part of our charitable assistance program, we have what's called the Free Indeed Market. And so Free Indeed Market is a pantry. It's a client choice pantry, and it comes from the scripture found in John 8:36, who the Son sets free is free indeed. And so the market is called Free Indeed Market, where grocery shopping is literally 100% free. We had high hopes to be able to work with the current administration, Tiffany Henyard, and her administration over at the Village of Dalton. However, since we closed on the property in June of 2023, we have not been able to do that. I know the mayor talks about how she wants to make progress, and initially we wanted to do that with her. However, because of their interest in the property, there has not been any assistance for us. We are not receiving business license to open up our thrift store.
We couldn't give business owners their permits or their business licenses.
And so those are the things that we need to move forward. The repair company for the roof was over to do an assessment and begin to fix the roofing issues, and he was given a $500 fine for just doing repairs. I know that the hope and the goal is if we don't open up the thrift store, if they don't give us the permit or the license to open up the thrift store, then that we will run out of money. They'll financially bankrupt us.
Couldn't help people with their water bills. 1 month it's $160 and the next billing cycle is $3,000.
Now this is my guess and just my opinion. Tiffany could have easily had some influence on giving people certain permits who might have wanted to fix these houses up and try to get them back on the tax roll. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it seemed very likely to me that the same kind of roadblocks that were used on businesses trying to open up in Dalton could have also been used towards people that were looking to either fix up or purchase property in Dalton, i.e. some of these abandoned houses. And that's just my opinion, okay? So while she's blaming the trustees for everything and saying they were in office for 4 years without doing anything, she's completely wrong. And like I've said before, from outside looking in, we can clearly see how the trustees have fought Tiffany Henyard tooth and nail on her outlandish spending and her trying to run the village into more of a deficit than she was already able to accomplish.
They the one creating the deficit. They the one not paying vendors, as you hear them all get up here and say. But everybody pointing the finger up here, but it's really them. And that's why I'm bringing it up, because I need people to wake up and pay attention. Our board has been obsolete as it relates to unity, and they have divided our community because of their personal hatred towards their mayor, their jealousy towards their mayor. All they had to do is work with me. I keep saying, don't hate, congratulate. Come join the team, the winning team.
Anyways, I'm done talking about her blaming the trustees for everything. Anyone who's been paying attention to the situation knows that the trustees have been doing their jobs, and that is looking out for the financial welfare of the village.
The residents hadn't even been eligible to look at it because we had just got it a couple of hours before the meeting. And then you keep saying contact the department heads for them to get back to us with questions, but nobody, either they're dragging their feet or not getting to us. At this moment right now, I am uncomfortable to even attempt to approve this budget because of what I've seen over the last 10 months has put me into a scare of where we would be by December at the rate that things are going. So I am not comfortable at all voting on this budget tonight.
Calling for an investigation of Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
This after the village board late last month called for the FBI, the U.S. Attorney, and the Cook County Sheriff to investigate the village's finances, which trustees say the mayor is keeping under wraps while spending lavishly.
We cannot continue to stand for millions of dollars being wasted on trips and things that do not benefit the community.
Kiana Belcher is one trustee calling for that investigation.
What is it that you all say she's spending public money on?
We have not received a financial report since September of 2023.
She alleges that last year, the mayor racked up $1 million in police overtime for her own personal detail.
A weekend, possibly $27,000 to $30,000.
$27,000 to $30,000 for a weekend?
For the weekend, yes. Last March, when we still were receiving copies of the card.
Let's talk about another video she posted on her Facebook page. And it was very short. You couldn't really see too much what was going on, but it was one of her saying that someone was stealing / removing her campaign signs. And in the comments, she was threatening to have this city employee fired, who I believe works for Public Works, for removing her campaign signs. When I watched this video, it occurred to me that I don't think this worker would do something so stupid and illegal in broad daylight that would risk their job, okay? So what I did is I looked up the Illinois legislation on campaign signs, and I found some interesting information. But the most important part of it that I found that I feel pertained to this little incident, okay, that's what we're calling it. I don't think it was an incident. I think they were just doing their job. So this is what I found. Signs. Private property. Signs placed on private property shall be limited to one sign for candidate for each office. Signs shall not be posted closer than 20 feet from the property line or street. Okay? And that's the key sentence right there, right? Signs shall not be posted closer than 20 feet from the property line or street. And then here's another one. Signs. Public property removal. Campaign signs may not be posted on public ways, utility rights of ways, easements, or any public property. If a sign is posted in these areas, the corporate authorities of the municipality where the sign is posted, or if the sign is located in an unincorporated area, the county board of the county where the sign is posted shall order the removal of the campaign sign. So I think that part relates to her signs, okay? Because as we can see, it is right by a public street, okay? That's what I'm saying, at least. I don't think that that's 20 feet away. Once again, the video is from far away, but come on. Just look at it. Let's use common sense here, people. Okay. We can clearly see her signs are not 20 feet away from the street. All right. Even though, this video was taken from far away, we clearly see it's probably a good 10 feet, maybe, if that. So once again, she's on Facebook blowing hot air. And honestly, I don't even know if she was aware that she herself was breaking a law. Okay, with the way she put those signs there. And she herself may not have put them there, maybe someone from her campaign team. So I'll put that little small disclaimer in there, even though she did post on her Facebook that they are her signs and that someone is going to get fired for removing them. So really what this is given is another wannabe politician running her mouth, puffing her chest out, talking trash about the town she lives in, when really she should be trying to uplift people and show how the future would be positive if people chose to vote for her. But we are getting the exact opposite, right? We're experiencing someone who is very verbally aggressive and who also alluded to the capability of becoming physically aggressive in the event of being questioned by residents with basic questions.
Let me say this, and let me be very clear.
Okay, so let's be crystal clear.
And I want to be very, very clear, because I believe in all things we should get an understanding. Now, I get it with this mayor race, people emotions and all that stuff is high, and people, just strive with mess and the whole 9 yards. I get it. But let me be clear about something. My personal space is my personal space.
How do you get people to know who you are? Are you door knocking, or how do people get to know you, Cassandra?
I'm a door knocker. I like to go knock on doors. You don't get to get in my personal space. You don't get to come ask me questions. You don't get to do any of that. When I came in this neighborhood, I knocked on every door and introduced myself. Hi, I'm Cassandra, I'm your neighbor. Come on, let me introduce myself so you can get to know me and things of that nature. So I'm a door knocker, I'm a people person. You get to stay out of my personal space. That's my type of thing. Talk to me, tell me your issues. Tell me what you got going on. What are your concerns about the village? Don't nobody care about what you think. Come somewhere and have a seat. I'm gonna tell you like I told the other one. Come somewhere and sit down. I ain't got time for your foolishness. I said what I said and I meant what I said. So I'm a door knocker. I gotta get out there. Internet is perfect. It's fine and good, but it's nothing like that one-on-one contact with the resident. Do not get me mistaken, and do not listen. I'm just telling you, don't be fooled. Don't mess around and find out. Do not get in my personal space. Don't come with me with no bad energy. Don't do any of that. That's all I'm saying. You should, first of all, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a woman that cares. You don't get to approach me, you don't get to do any of that. But make no mistake, I'm not Tiffany Henyard. You will not get up in my personal space, I'm just telling you. And I'm just overall a good person. I tell people, get to know me. You get to know me, Regina, you'll be like, oh my God. She is just so cool and down to earth. I mean, I'm the type of person that I will give you the shirt off my back. I'm just telling you, that might not work out so well for you. Let's not do that. I don't care who you support. Don't get up in my personal space. Don't get up in my face, because I'm telling you now, that ain't gonna work out well for you. Forget about what you hear on social media. Forget about what you see on the internet. Get to know me for who I am. Sit down and have a conversation with me. My personal space is my personal space. You don't get to get in my personal space. You don't get to come ask me questions. You don't get to do any of that. But what you will not do is get in my personal space, because that won't work out well for you. And I don't give a flying who don't like it. And if you're gonna come over and lurk and go back on your YouTube pages men, women that want to be men that want to be women, or however you want to put it. Yes, I said it. Yeah, we at that point right there. And I'm gonna say it again. Do not get in my personal space. I could care less what you say on the internet. I could care less. And I left the meeting because I don't want to be dealing with a bunch of ignorant folks. That's why I left. And if you're in the meeting, why are you so worried about what it is that I'm doing?
So I feel this is not the person Dalton needs after enduring 4 years of Tiffany the Tyrant. They need someone who has a level head on their shoulders and who can communicate without letting emotions take control in order to solve problems, and most importantly, doesn't talk down to the community they claim to love. You know, just some basic suggestions on how to treat your fellow human beings, okay? Well, you guys, that's going to be it for today. Let me know how you guys felt about her accusing the public worker of removing her campaign signs. If you're from Illinois, did I get that right as far as the legislation guidelines for campaign signs? That's what I found on Google. We know Google's not always right, okay? But let me know down in the comments, you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave it a like. And if you're new here, subscribe.